Andrew asks, hey guys, I'm wondering why you have such a huge hate boner for the Dreamcast. Pretend for a minute that the lifespan wasn't under the care of Sega. Mm-hmm. The VMU was ahead of its time, and the Dreamcast paved the way for online console gaming as we know it today. Not to mention, it was the go-to console for arcade ports. What are your thoughts?
Now, let's take this in turns.
Yes, let's do that.
I absolutely agree.
Starting with Pat.
Okay, sure. I don't hate the Dreamcast. I'd say that to piss off people that love the Dreamcast, because people who love the Dreamcast are so fucking annoying. Because when I had a PS2, all I would ever fucking hear is like, oh man, he was so much better than this Dreamcast. Nah. Scott Arcade, like, just shut the fuck up. No. Power Stone is so awesome! And every time I would play a killer app on the Dreamcast, I'd go, yeah, that's alright. This controller's garbage, though. Okay, I'm gonna go back to playing Final Fantasy. Okay, bye.
Okay, well, I also like to make fun of people that like the Dreamcast a lot. I think it's hilarious because it's such a failure of a console from, like, a business standpoint, obviously. Mm-hmm. Like, huge amounts of money wasted. Shenmue was, like, did not sell well.
Nope.
It didn't save the console.
Nope.
Whatever, but that's all the things. But when I first played the Dreamcast, I was forced to play Third Strike with the worst D-pad for a fighting game ever.
Yeah.
I was able to play Third Strike relatively fine on the 360's pad. Yeah. It was not optimal.
Yeah.
But the Dreamcast pad just ripped up my thumb. Just ripped my thumb's butthole all up. It was terrible.
Got all up in it.
It was the worst way to experience Third Strike at home. But other than that, I don't actually hate it. There are the Berserk game, I really like it, whatever. And I love Power Stone, and I love some of those arcade ports. And I think I told Willie and Liam this, is that the Dreamcast, aside from maybe Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 and Shenmue, it lacks a giant game that's not an arcade port. It lacks sort of big experiences.
I just want to point out there is one thing I genuinely love about the Dreamcast, and that's the fact that you could play Quake 3 with a mouse and keyboard against people using controllers, and that shit was hilarious. They had no chance. It was sick.
Yeah, I guess that's about it.
You know, yeah, no, I enjoyed the troll arguments that we have from time to time, almost like on a monthly basis.
Heated.
Because it would basically be me yelling at the both of you over the
Stop hating the Dreamcast!
And you guys going like, well, if it wasn't such a shitty console, we wouldn't be hating on it, blah, blah, right? To the point...
Almost
That's the best answer. How can you argue against that?
To the point where we got into the dumbest argument ever, where it was fucking like, okay, so what you're saying is, I went to the arcades and I spent money, and I didn't do it enough that it would
balance out
to the amount that I had to spend. Therefore, going to the arcade and spending that quarter every day or more was worth it. And like I was fucking ripping my hair out. Like I couldn't. The Dreamcast is one of the best consoles ever made. I fucking love it. I think it is hilarious material for the channel.
It's a shame about the controller.
I think it's to go behind that fourth wall. I think it's a hilarious thing to rag on. But as an actual console in the grand scheme of things, it's one of the fucking best.
I'd be way more inclined to agree with you if I just didn't hate that controller the most of any controller ever, save for the Ouya and the Duke.
Now, there's a lot of things that they did wrong with the timing and all this and and whatnot.
So early.
But ultimately, nothing really did put the nail in the coffin like the fucking piratability of everything, which was, hey, do you have a CD? Got a burner?
Hey, you know what's better than no copy protection on your software? Any copy protection on your software?
Yeah, no, exactly. For me, the Dreamcast quite simply meant the first time that we had fucking VMUs with little screens on them, like doing things that the Pocket Station tried or thought.
Pocket Station
it barely existed in America.
And the VMUs actually had shit going on. It had. I went to school and traded save data with my friend's VMU.
And
it was cute. Yeah.
We've come all the way back now to people saying, "Oh, the second screen device shit is so important."
Sure,
that's what the VMU was.
Because it was always a good idea. Yeah.
I hate it though.
But I love it.
First console console, or at least like major release, where you had 4 ports just looking at you, like that.
Yeah.
Not kind of. No, obviously N64 did that.
Yeah,
but
like,
I'm saying
5 years before that.
No, but I mean like, okay, specifically.
Yeah.
They looked at you though.
No, specifically when you had games like Gauntlet Legends, and you had 4-player arcade games coming
Or
out,
any of the legendary 2K sports games.
and which redefined sports at the time.
Yeah.
And me being an arcade fucking loving dude,
Yeah.
like every arcade game, specifically the Capcom fighters, it was the only place to find them.
It's a shame about that controller.
And you couldn't play Third Strike anywhere other way else. The ports of Marvel versus Capcom and other
or
shit.
the arcade.
Yeah, exactly. Well, except for the part where the PS2 wasn't there at the time.
Yeah, it didn't exist.
Yeah,
And-
but you can just play it a better version.
And the
Yeah, but you got like
and the
720 days to wait.
And the
Like-
and the PS1 ports were unplayable garbage because they couldn't even load 2 characters on the screen at the same time.
Yeah, that was bad.
So those were all there and amazing exclusives, rival schools, etc. So one of the best. I bought 5 of them. And fucking...
Not at once, though.
No, over the years...
No, at once. I thought you'd be funny if you corrected him.
Over the years, I've learned to open up and tweak and refurbish
Boy, yeah, that
these
happens.
things.
Wooly
because-
is literally keeping the Dreamcast alive.
Yeah, because goddamn it,
We
that
are.
console deserves it.
Yeah. In 1999 to 2001, nobody where I lived had a Dreamcast.
Shocking!
I didn't see a Dreamcast.
Hey, guess what? Not many people own Dreamcast.
I know.
That was
realized.
actually the problem.
I realized, but I didn't see a Dreamcast until like 2005.
That's pretty late.
right. I didn't touch the Dreamcast until like 2008 or some odd, and I bought a Dreamcast, and I bought Choo Choo Rocket, Jet Grind Radio, I bought Shenmue, I bought Trigger Hard Excelica, Crazy Taxi. I bought like tons, all the staples.
Yeah.
And I came home and I popped it in, and it was the fucking best.
Yeah.
All these games hold up so well, except for Phantasy Star because it's missing half the game. But
I'd say more than half.
they more than half, yeah. It was still fun, but anyway, they hold up so well, and like they are my go-to whenever I need just a fun game with no patch bullshit, and I don't want to go back all the way to NES, and I just want that cool not early, but that cool like 3D middle ground between current gen and like the fucking Saturn.
Soul
I
Calibur
love
1,
the Dreamcast.
Soul
It's
Calibur
great.
1 looked better on the Dreamcast than it did in the arcades.
Yeah.
Skies of Arcadia.
Skies of Arcadia. That's
If
the
you
one I
only
didn't
knew
buy.
about it because of the GameCube remake, then like I feel sorry for you, man.
Better on the GameCube.
I know, but it was
Hey, no, wait a second. Fuck you. You can't sit around and play shit like fucking Umbrella Chronicles and say, well, I'm glad I never played the originals. Good for me for waiting.
I
and
didn't
then
say that. That's ridiculous. But I
said
specifically.
You've said that.
I'm glad I never played the originals. That's bullshit.
Not
no,
glad, but-
I just happened to not play them, and then I played that, and I was like, okay, sure. But if I wanted to have gone back to those games, then I would have. I just didn't. Regardless, Skies of Arcadia was
Yeah.
a great game then, and
It's
then they remade it, and it
it's
was a great
sad
game
you never heard
afterwards.
about it on its weaker version.
But yeah,
One of the best back then,
I
man.
played a shitload of games. Recently, I bought Egg on there. I forget what
Sure.
it stands for. That game fucking holds up.
Yeah.
I want to buy Shenmue 2. I want to try that. And like,
It is a cliffhanger.
I'm aware it's a
At the
cliffhanger,
end.
but I just want to see how much better it is than the first one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's there.
Evolution was there.
Evolution, Evolution Worlds was on the GameCube, but yeah, Evolution was there. I still need to pick that one up, but I really like the Dreamcast. It's
Yeah, man.
a good game.
So basically, the Dreamcast is horrible, and if you like it, you have a horrible mangled monster claw.
yeah, the controller's great. I like the controller.
Okay, you're a psycho.
Last bit on the controller, mind you. Like, this is where I will agree that the D-pad's not
The
great.
D-pad.
The analog stick's terrible too, and the buttons, and the triggers, and the shape.
Okay, come on.
The buttons
triggers
are fine.
The
buttons
triggers are fine.
Buttons are fine. Triggers are fine. Analog and D-pad are not super
the
great.
arrows aren't fine. The triggers aren't fine.
D-pad, though, you get used to it, and it's not offensive.
This is the worst controller ever.
We're holding
It's not
Dreamcast
offensive.
controllers.
This is
It's
so
like how when
garbage.
you get whipped in in like a dungeon and you get used to it.
No,
Yeah.
because I personally don't feel you could ever.
No, that's way easier than getting used to the Dreamcast.
I don't
era.
feel you could ever get used to. That's the sound of the controller right there.
They're great.
I don't feel you could ever get used to the Duke. I think the Duke is just a bad controller, and it feels awkward forever, no matter what.
You're right, and so is the Dreamcast controller.
But no, because me and everyone I played games with, we got used to it.
You know what?
Fine.
No, everyone can get used to anything. You've seen Linda playing Monster Hunter with the fucking claw, okay? People will get used to crazy shit.
I bought a Dreamcast in like 2008.
And now you have busted wrists.
Yeah, but that's because of Kid Icarus.
Is it? Is it though?
So, look, we already
Are
know-
you sure?
I am pretty fucking sure.
We all know that you're a controller Nazi. You're insane with
I have a
controllers.
stack of sealed controllers on my wall
For the future.
for when I get this controller's analog stick's bad.
Exactly. So you're almost disqualified from this conversation.
No, I'm super qualified.
Because you throw out working controllers that have no problems with them.
They don't
Except
feel
for
right. The R2 on my PS3 DualShock, it makes a noise when I touch it.
That's crazy.
The wire is bent a bit too much.
For my
Oh,
part,
Lord,
if
Pat.
I hadn't been forced to play Third Strike on
You were not
it,
forced. You
no,
rented
we were
the
forced
fucking
because we
thing.
rented it, and everyone wanted to I know, I want to play Street Fighter.
You make it
But-
sound like your
No,
parents
I was
whipped you
a
into
guy
fucking-
from
Clockwork
Sega.
Orange. Just
A guy from Sega said
tied
you
him
need
down.
to play this to keep this busted system alive. But no, if I had not had a
See,
fighting game,
great for punchlines, but not for truth. Go on.
if we weren't playing a fighting game, we weren't forced to do like fireball motions on the worst D-pad ever, then I might not have had such a poor experience with it. If we were just playing like random adventure game, like the 2 or 3 adventure games that were ever released in the console's lifetime, and not just arcade games, we might have had a better impression of it, and
Sure,
it
yeah.
wouldn't have been as bad as my memory is given to me.
Yeah.
Like,
we should play some Dreamcast games.
We
play
should.
some Dreamcast.
We played enough.
No, you haven't played Egg.
I
yet.
bought a bunch that we haven't played yet.
Dude, Egg is the best
Hey,
Zelda.
isn't
you've ever
that
heard
stupid? I'm like, it's kind of. I buy Dreamcast games fairly regularly.
Yeah.
You go find me a fucking version of Capcom versus SNK 1 with everything and the menus and the music and all that shit on any other console.
Can I play with an
PS1
arcade
has
stick?
Everything.
It has nothing in it. The PS1 version has
Pro?
nothing in it.
Pro, it's got it.
It doesn't have all the shit in it. It's super gimped compared to what's on the
Sure.
Dreamcast. It's not a legit version. All the PS1.
Can I play it with an arcade stick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have an arcade stick?
Well, that's not up to him.
Because the question of can I play it is like if you got CVS1 of the Dreamcast, like could I actually play it with an arcade
I
stick?
got a
though?
buddy who's got a wire that he can plug into a stick that'll
Good.
Yes, you can. Because I have a Dreamcast to PS2 converter.
Great.
So I
Perfect.
can make you play Guys Play
Why are you getting
Dreamcast.
excited for something he's never going to do anyway?
I know, but all your
It's
controller
true.
modes.
You'll connect it up, and I'll be like, this arcade stick feels like it's got bad controls now.
Pat, it's your arcade stick.
Honestly,
Why did you ruin my arcade stick with this Dreamcast?
completely forgot that I have a PS2 converter, so you can play PS2 controller on your Dreamcast.
Nice.
So shut the fuck up about that.
Hey, you don't worry. I can patch in to put a good controller to take place of this shit controller.
It was the
Yeah,
best place to
that's
play
a-
Metal Gear
that's
Solid
great-
for a bunch of years, too.
Also, do you
what?
remember a time
The
when you...
Bleamcast.
Do you remember
That's
a console
not-
that
that's not
allowed you to
true.
do VGA output,
No.
right?
No, you couldn't.
I appreciate
It's
that.
impossible.
Fucking
I appreciate
beautiful
VGA
Crazy
output.
Taxi.
When I
Beautiful.
bought my Dreamcast and I got like these shitty ass cables, I'm like, how am I gonna replace these? And there's like a billion fucking new cables available on the internet. It's great.
Yeah, and I got a VGA to component and plugged it
Yeah.
into my HD TV.
And it looks great.
HD Dreamcast, baby.
Long live the Dreamcast.
Yep.
No,
I
wait,
played-
it was a piece of shit.
But it gets better if you use Bleamcast with that.
Oh, I see where
Dude,
this is
Metal
going.
Gear Solid looks
Metal
great.
Gear Solid
It
in
looks
HD
great.
when it's unintended.
Can we get a good question so that I don't have to so I
No,
can
that was
wash
a good
the
question.
No.
stink of the Dreamcast out of my nostrils?
No,
Good
questions
question.
are over.
Oh, no, come on,
No.
give me one more.
Wait, actually, no.
No, that's it.
No.
Everyone else left.
No, I mean, there's two here. and I'm like, neither
It
of them
doesn't
are
matter
nothing.
because everyone stopped the
Just
listening to the
scroll down.
podcast and we started talking about the Dreamcast.
No more questions.
As soon as we started talking about the Dreamcast, people inexplicably started going online and buying PS2s.
Oh no.